Hello everyone, welcome to Sleepy Notes Club. I hope you're all doing well. So today I want to talk to you guys about my journals. I realized the other day that I've never really gone in depth explaining my journaling system. I usually only talk about my ring planners, and like I've said multiple times before, they kind of help me be a human being in society and keeping up with my tasks and daily events and things like that. But journaling is such a big part of who I am, really. I actually think I probably spend more time journaling than planning, because I do plan morning and then throughout the day and the evening. But when I'm not planning, I am writing on my journals because I finally found a system that kind of works for me. Just for context, just real quick, I always used to keep a journal in the form of an A5 bullet journal, and I used it to record like important dates, like events, something huge that happens in my life, if we went on a trip, things like that. But alongside that journal, I always used to keep, well, for the longest time at least, I remember keeping a Commonplace, which was also usually an A5. I have my stationery journal where I record what I buy, like in terms of like stationery goodies, planners, like pens, all these things. I also have my junk journal as well, and then a one line a day. All these things form my village of notebooks and planners that, like I always say, that means something to me. So the last couple weeks I've been working on a system which I'm going to show you now, and I think is the best journaling system that I've had in forever. I finally kind of condense all my interests and journals in these 3 little books, which I'm going to show you. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. I think I'm gonna start with the smallest of them all, which is my Passport Traveler's Notebook. And I'm using a Kaweco Sport Rollerball pen because I love this color and it just brings me joy to just have it in here. So yeah, this is a very important book for me, and it's actually the notebook that started the whole kind of shift in my journaling system. So in here I have 3 different like journals and sections. The first one is Traveler's Notebook Refill. I think is the dot grid. And I also keep 2 Moleskine notebooks. One of them is a grid and the other is just a plain notebook. And before we start, I need to explain the reason why these 3 books are compiled in this cover. And this is the whole thing and the biggest change, I guess, in my journaling system. So every single cover that I'm using and I'm gonna show you holds 2 to 3 different books, and there's a very, very specific reason why I'm keeping them in each size. So let me explain. I hope it makes sense. So let me explain. In my Passport, which is the smallest, is my most portable like cover, I hold the books that I need to have with me within reach at any point in time. For example, my one line a day, I write on it every night, usually before going to bed. I will take it with me. We go on a road trip or a proper trip, so I need to have it with me at all times. And my junk journal is like my everyday catch-all, I guess, in a way. So I collect things and paper things everywhere I go. Like if I go to Waitrose, then I'll collect their magazines, and if I go, I don't know, to town and someone is giving out flyers, then I'll probably collect that as well. And they don't mean that much to me, so they won't go here, but I do want to keep them in some way if they're pretty or something, and then they will go to my junk journal. And the reason why I have my stationery journal here is because I always buy stationery everywhere I go. So it just makes sense to me in my brain to keep these 3 things here, because I feel like I could survive with this. I hope that makes sense. It's just the size to me makes sense. I used to keep my one line a day, and let's start with this one. I used to keep my one line a day in my rings, planner. I've showed it multiple times on my other videos and it worked for the longest time. It was really good. I was very consistent, but I felt like I needed a bit of a separation between what is to me my rings planner, which is more functional, and my personal like books. So a bit of a flip through so I can show you how I'm using this. I started this last month in September, so I don't have a lot of things, but I think it's enough for you to see kind of how it's working and what I'm doing with it. So for all of this system that I'm gonna introduce as well, I just want to say that I've implemented a no rules, kind of no boundaries approach to them. I think the fact that I was limiting myself so much with trying to be perfect and aesthetic and keeping all these layouts together, just the act of journaling became a task and sometimes not as enjoyable. And these days have been so crazy as well in my personal life that I cannot, it will be really good for me to just take out some of that stress and not add on any more. So yeah, no rules. I think I did a little flip through on my last video, so I'm just gonna go past September real quick. And what I've been doing, I've been printing my freebies for every month, and I'm just checking the days that I write something in here or that I use my journal. And I also like to have a little wins section for each month. These are for more like personal wins, because I do have some wins on my rings, and that's for more like a global kind of wins in my life. But these are personal wins that I've had during the month. And like I say, no rules. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the layouts. So I just drew this myself, and I'm just using my dot stickers to highlight the days where something important happened. So yeah, this is September, and if something important happened or something out of the ordinary happened, then I will create a little bit of a weekly. So if I need any more detail other than, my monthly calendar, then I will allow myself a bit more space, and I'll write down an entry of the day on the next pages. So I'm using this as a kind of like one line a day / bullet journal style. So I have my monthly, and then obviously my wins, and then I have free range here to just write anything I want, paste little bits and pieces. For example, like we really enjoy these Vickies or biscuits here, and I just had to journal about it. This is a flower magazine that we received at home, my traveler's notebook, packaging thingies. So everything that is not special enough, I will say, to put in my journal, which I'm going to show you in my actual like Dear Diary journal, then it will go here. So receipts, we went on a trip here, we tried this other really nice dessert, more receipts. We tried scones for the first time, so I just made a note there. We went on a trip to Mexico, so just plane tickets, things like that. More receipts. And this is where I started October. So this is my October calendar. My wins, I decided to just print both of my freebies this time. And this is my October calendar, which is going really well. I've been doing it pretty consistently, almost every day. And a lot of things had happened, but not the nicest things. So, this month has been a bit less interesting in like spreads, I guess. But again, no pressure, no rules, everything is okay, everything's valid. And this is the last entry that I did yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, Saturday, sorry, Saturday. So yeah, this is my while on a day. Now on this side, on this pocket, I keep some stamps that I use sometimes when I journal, and some other cutouts that I want to use at one point. For example, I'm keeping this one of the Bury St. Edmunds Church on Christmas, so I'm just waiting for December to use this cutout somewhere. And yeah, so now we go on to my junk journal. And yeah, so this is where I keep things that are not as important to me. I don't need to have them in my diary or my Commonplace. I don't need to create a whole deal around them or a spread. but I still want to keep because they're pretty, or they just, I don't know, they just want to keep them. I don't want to trash any kind of paper. I struggle with that, and I'm sure we're all the same. But yeah, so just real quick, this is, for example, a postcard that I got when we went to Bury as well, and I loved how it looked. It's a vintage one from the 50s, I think, so I just decided to keep it here. This is a spread I made because I cut out the cover of one of my favorite books, you know, not the actual cover, but it came with, like, you know, the paper cover that sometimes books are wrapped in. So I kind of destroyed it a bit because I used some of it to create dashboards for my rings planners, and I was left with a lot of these bits, so I decided to just make a little spread. Again, not enough for me to do it in my Commonplace, but I just didn't want to get rid of this. They're so pretty, so I decided to just make a quick spread in my junk journal. This was a flower, what's it called, gardening magazine we got on the post, and I just you know, cut out a couple things. We went to Bury again that one time, and I just stacked up on brochures and things like that. So in one of them they were talking about Quentin Blake, which is an illustrator that I really like, because there was going to be like an exposition of some sort. So obviously I kept the, well, part of the brochure, and this was also part of another brochure from Bury as well. It was also like for a gallery exposition, so I just made a collage like this, and again, not enough for me to put it anywhere else, but I just want to keep it, so it's in this journal. And this one was a very old school brochure from a French restaurant, and I just really loved the color and the illustrations and all these things, which I thought was really special, so I kept it as well. These two were part of my mom's like paper stash, so I don't know, they're just very special to me. And this was an old school hotel back in the day. 11 million pesos, that's crazy. That's crazy, that's like the 60s or something. But anyway, this is the same hotel. It doesn't say what year, sadly, but you know, it's just nice to keep. This was also from my mom's collection. She used to keep paper like I do, so it just runs in the family, I guess. Another part of a gardening magazine, and this is from the New York Times. I found this edition in the airport when we were coming back from Mexico a couple weeks ago, and they just had these free samples of all these cool newspapers. So yeah, I just made a little collage as well, and this was from the same newspaper, and it was about the Regent's Park, which I think is New York as well. So I just really like how it looks, and this is just a piece of paper that came in the post. Again, this is why I love the pocket size for things like this. Not super special, but enough space to wanna keep recording and collecting and journaling, you know? I hope that makes sense. This is part of a crafts book, I think. A parking ticket, not ticket, what's it called? Parking entry thingy from my husband. Just some bits and pieces here and there that were just dancing around my desk, and I didn't want to get rid of as well. And I bought these color pencils because I want to do a bit more art. I want to continue my illustrations that I used to do back in the day. So this guide came with the packaging, and I just pasted it here because I think it's a cool kind of reference to have with all the colors and their names and stuff like that. And these are my husband's favorite tea bags, I guess. It's his favorite brand, and he listed the flavors he likes the most. So I like keeping this here because I need to remember this when I need to give him like a gift. I actually gift this to him every kind of 2 months or so because he just loves tea. And yeah, that is my junk journal. So yeah, just no rules, just follow your heart and follow what you like. And if you want to collect even the smallest things, it's fine. You can just need to have a space to keep them instead of having them everywhere like I did and still do actually in my desk. And the last one in this little cover here is my stationery journal. And let me just flip real quick because I did show it last time. But I have a couple new things. So I have my shopping spree from Traveler's Notebook that I did a couple weeks ago when I was setting all this like system up. My Moleskine, which is my one on a day, I bought this Trusco toolbox, Japanese toolbox, which is very nice. These are also some Midori notebooks that I bought, and I'll show you because they are also part of my system now. And then this is the Stalogy notebook as well that I'm using. I'll show you some more packaging bits here and there. I found these numbers in a charity shop and I really like them. I made an oopsie and I cut the number 6, I think. No, 9? I don't know. Well, I cut one of the numbers. They're all everywhere. But I really like how it looks, so I'm just keeping it here because still stationery that I found. And it's just bits and pieces of things that I find and buy. And the last bits is I received Happy Mail from the Journaling Times, which they were really kind to send me some goodies, stickers, and the packaging was lovely, and they came with these stamps as well, so obviously I had to record it. And then last thing is, I finally ordered from Cold Pens, and I ordered another Midori notebook and a clear cover, which I'll show you as well. And they are great. Oh my gosh, like it arrived in like 2 days or something. It was fantastic, and I really love them. But yeah, that is my Passport Traveler's notebook, and yeah, this is to me like therapy. Like just writing down my things and having no stress and no rules really works. So yeah, this is the little guide that started everything. And then let me show you the cover that followed. So this is probably the prettiest cover I've ever owned. Patina is fantastic, it's shiny and soft, and it's just great. I love it. I sadly don't have a link for this. I bought it on Vinted. It is unbranded. It is handmade, and I did ask the lady that was selling it, but she didn't tell me who was the brand or anything, so I think it's just unbranded. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. This is the second layer of my journaling system. This one is A size, so it's a bit bigger, of course. I have more space to journal, which means I can very comfortably keep my Commonplace and my art journal. So these are the two notebooks that I'm keeping, and I keep my Commonplace in a Midori Grid A6 notebook and my art journal in a Stalogy A6 as well. So like I said, I do like to make a bit more of a deal with my Commonplace because I like to do a lot of collages and things like that, and I do illustrate with watercolors and color pencils and stuff like that, so I obviously need more space for that, which is why I like to keep them in this size and separate them from my Passport, because I know I won't be bringing my Commonplace or my art journal if I'm out and about on a random day. I may not bring them even if I'm just traveling, because I usually don't sit down a lot when I'm traveling. I just am doing stuff with my husband and things like that. So I know I will be bringing this one, but I won't be having time to write on this, so that's why now it's a size up. Still very portable, but I do have more space to create a bit more of a deal of my spreads. So let me show you first of all my Midori notebook. So here I'm just keeping a plane ticket. This is an envelope that the Journaling Times sent me as well with the goodies that I showed you. This is just like a normal envelope that I had laying around, and I like how it looks. And in here I'm gonna put some stamps as well. I just need to organize my stamp collection. I will show you a bit more about that. But this is where my stamps are gonna be, so I can use them really easily in my journal. I did put the cover on the back of it as well, so the actual cover of the Midori has nothing, but I think it works. Now onto the other side, this is a cutout from just a book. I think it's a crafts book. And this is the key that I'm using. So I do love to color code when it comes to journaling more than planning. So I'm using blue for nostalgia. So for example, articles or pages of a book, because I'm a very nostalgic person. I like the 90s and 2000s kind of era and everything that's around them. Then, you know, I'll add it here. Yellow for books. Now, when I say books, I don't mean literature books. I think I've come to terms that 2024 hasn't been the year for me to read. I haven't had time and I haven't really been interested. I think the last one I read was Fort Wing and I didn't even finish it. For me, I think I've discovered that I love reading, owning and working with vintage books about decoration, history, anything, you know, my gardening books, all these things. And I like to actually record what I learn and what I see and what I like from those. And so that's what I mean with books. It's a spread dedicated to something I saw in one of my many books that I found in charity shops or anywhere else. Red for interest, like in general, and green for country life, because I love gardening. I love the country style decoration. We watch a lot of like Escape to the Country, things like that, you know, people finding their dream homes in the countryside. You know, my dream in life to own my own farm, I guess, in the future. So I just like to record things like that. So this is just a cutout from another book that I found. This is, using this to keep it in place, this bookmark. Oh, I forgot to put this back, I'll put it later. But this is it vellum? I'm not sure, but this is like the kind of like paper that the Midori notebooks come wrapped in. So I still have some more because I've ordered a lot of Midori notebooks. So I just cut it and paste it in here so I can have this kind of like effect to see the calendar of, you know, where I record the days I use this journal. And then I just put like a stamp that I really like, and then that goes to my index. And I don't have many things, I just started it, but I can show you a couple things. This is just space for more entries, of course. And the first one is this spread that I made of the book, The Country Home Decorating Book by Miranda Innes. I really love this. It's one of my favorite. It's fantastic. The pictures are great. And she makes a lot of sense if you actually wanna own and build a country home in the future, then this book is great. I think you can find it on eBay as well. So yeah, I was just really into it and I made a couple spreads about it, and all of this is part of the book as well. And I just made kind of like a checklist that she talks about if you want to build that sense of country in your home. This is a book that my mom used to own, and I remember seeing it throughout my life. It was like what's it called, embroidery and knitting and things like that. And I found it last time I was at home, and it just brings a lot of memories. And yeah, that's what I mean with nostalgia. So anything that reminds me of the past, and this is very important to me. So I just had to have a bit of that in my Commonplace, and as well, this is the same thing. The book from Reader's Digest. This is also nostalgia, and is a spread I made of this palm devices that I always wanted to own, but I never did. And if I could trade my phone for that, I will in a second. It's just, I need a nice camera, I guess. But this is something else that I really enjoy. And all these entries, if they seem familiar to you, I did used to have them in my big Commonplace, but again, like I said, I'm downsizing, so I just made them or pasted them again in here, which is always fun to do sometimes. And this is a country life spread, so I do want to do a lot of gardening in my life in the future. So yeah, that's just another part of my Commonplace and my interest that I just really enjoy looking at and learning from. This is how to kind of plant this specific, like the plants that kind of wrap around any kind of surface, which is very nice. I really want to have those in my life, in my house. And this is more planting and care, but this one specifically for autumn, for an autumn flower bed, which was very nice to find, very appropriate. I keep, I'm gonna lose all of this, but I will put them back later. And this one, I bought another Castle Arts watercolor set because, like I said, I want to continue illustrating. And in this case, I divided the colors by, for example, home aesthetics, the colors I would love to have in my future house, then it will be all of these, just greens and yellows and like off-whites and stuff, just kind of naturey colors and rustic colors. And then my planning aesthetics, which are the colors that I do like and can accept in my rings planners, because like I've said multiple times, a lot of color really bothers me, but you know, just blacks, grays, and some yellows. For example, this kind of, it's called golden yellow, but it's kind of like a duckling yellow kind of thing, I guess. I love. And then my nail colors, for some reason I always like all these colors, but for my nails I'm just like pink and very girly colors. This is my book section. Like I said, I am not placing a lot of pressure in reading books, so there's no use in making a specific book journal, which I had and I never finished. So I decided to have my book log, my reading log in my Commonplace, and I have one of these so I can reference it easier. I've showed you before, but this is a reading card, I think like a library card that I found in one book, and it's from 1995 and it's cool, and I just love things like that, so I'm keeping it here. These are the books that I'm currently reading, and I may want to continue at any point if I ever get the urge to read again, I guess. And this is my reading log of the books I've completed and rating. So again, not a lot of pressure. I'm even using a post-it, you know, it's just easier. But yeah, that is my Commonplace. And next to it is my Stalogy notebook, which I'm using as a art journal. Now this one has only one entry because I just started it. This is a Choosing Keeping, which is my favorite stationery shop in London. It's just like a little goodie from there that I got in the packaging. And this is I love this. It's part of a you know, just a book I got in a charity shop, and I loved it because it just makes a lot of sense. This is just a cutout from a book as well, and this is the only illustration or entry I've done, and I was just testing my color pencils that I showed you, and I just use kind of like my own books or things I see every day as a reference to illustrate. And this is what this is going to be. I just want to get into more actual illustration, because all the art that I do is usually on my iPad and it's digital, so I kind of want to go back to this medium again, which is something that I used to enjoy a lot back in the day. So yeah, that's it for my art journal. I'll continue it with time and I'll show you as well. And yeah, this is my second notebook collection. Now, following the theme, we are gonna go up a size again, and I'm gonna introduce you to my B6 Chick Sparrow leather cover. I cannot remember for the life of me what specific leather or color this is. I will write it down in the description for sure. And I got mega lucky because I bought this secondhand on eBay, and I've always wanted to own a Chick Sparrow, but they are very expensive, especially if you want to add the shipping from the US to the UK. So I haven't really you know, allowed myself to do it yet. But anyway, I've always wanted to own a Chick Sparrow. I've seen many videos and I've been drooling all over these lovely covers, and I'm so happy about it. I remember I bought it 5 minutes before we had to board the plane back from Mexico. When I first received it, I'm pretty sure its past owner didn't use it at all. I think there were almost no kind of signs of wear, and the leather was real, well, not super, but it was quite stiff. But I was watching some videos online and I found this girl that was saying, I cannot remember as well, I'm gonna put her channel down below because she has great like journaling vlogs and like videos, but she was saying that she rolls her journals every however many days. And I thought, you know, that's a great idea. And I started to roll mine, just literally took everything out and I started rolling it here and there just to speed up the patina. Obviously, it's not super recommended to do every day, especially if you have pockets like I do. But it was just too stiff for me when I bought it. So I literally rolled it one day, I think, for like 10 minutes. And then I've been asking my husband to roll it every night. We haven't done it that often, to be honest, but I have asked him to roll it, and he has a lot of fun doing it. So I'm like, you know, go ahead. And even with all that, it's still keeping up pretty well, but I can definitely see some signs of wear here, which I love the marks. I'm just, you know, I don't have the heart to make them myself, but every single time I see a mark, I'm like even more in love. I really love how it looks anyway, and I'm really happy with this Chick Sparrow cover. But anyway, enough of that. Like I said, this is the biggest size that I'm allowing myself to own this time. I think I'm giving up on A5. I've used it for so many years with my bullet journals, and I think it's time for something new. So I went back to the B6 size, which is this cover and the notebooks. I've owned B6 before in my Penco notebooks, which I do have one here, which this one I was tempted to show you. This is my recipe journal, but I just started it, so there's no point. But this is going to be my recipe notebook in my Penco, what's it called there? Penco B6 notebook. But anyway, I love the B6 size. I think for me, the B6 is fantastic and is now the biggest size that I own. And yes, so on this side of the cover, before we go on to the notebooks, I'm just have different goodies and memories. This is a birthday card that my mom used to hand out back in the day when someone's birthday was coming up. This is a train ticket from when we went to London early this year. I have some dot stickers, which I use for everything. This is another Journaling Times Happy Mail, which I love. I just love the illustration. And this is just a message that my best friend wrote to me before I moved to the UK, and I really like having it here as well. Oh, and then on this side, I have two very important special photos. So it's just me and my dad back in the day when I was like, was it 96, 95? When I was very, very young. And this is me and my mom, and when we used to go fishing, because my dad loved fishing. So I just like having this here because this notebook, or this, again, village of notebooks, to me are my personal interests. So for example, the first notebook is a Midori A6 notebook, and this is my stamp collection book where I keep my favorite stamps. And this is again the packaging paper that the notebooks come in, and I just paste one of my favorite stamps, the keys that I use to classify each stamp, so like nature, arts and humanities, social sciences, and others. And this is just my index, again with the color coding. And then we start on the first page. The way I'm using this is I'm just using one page on both sides. And when I, at some point, run out of space, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to a blank or new page, and I'll just write flowers 2, and I'll continue the flower stamp collection. Then I can just write it down on my index, and that way I kind of keep track of everything better. But yeah, so I have the flowers, literature stamps with these Charles Dickens ones, which is great. I have my art as well. I still have a lot of stamps, by the way. I just started this last week and I haven't had time to actually sit down and look at all the dates and everything, but there's a lot of stamps that I still need to allocate. So I'll keep you posted, maybe with a reel on Instagram when I dedicate a bit more time to this this section. But I also have medieval era, or the Middle Ages, which is very nice. I love that period of time. Butterflies, there's a lot of really cool stamps about butterflies because they're beautiful. Motor cars or anything related. Sports, which this one is a cool one, is the World Cup 1966. Health, this one is from Mexico, which I try to collect a lot from Mexico, even though they're not as pretty as the British ones, to be honest. But I try my best, and this one is really cute. Christmas, also from Mexico in 1985. And is that the last one for now? Yeah, and architecture. I do have fruit stamps and all these other ones, but I'll dedicate some time later, probably November, because I have a very busy rest of the month. Okay, so Now, the second notebook that I have here, and probably the most important in this whole setup, is my journal. Now, my journal, my dear diary, used to be in an A5 bullet journal, which I can show you now, but it's destroyed because I am rewriting everything on this one. Is this, like I said, it's just falling to pieces. But I was just not vibing with the A5 size. I still have to transfer all of these entries here. Again, it's a lot of work, but it's therapeutic to me anyway, so I just need to find a time for me to actually do it. But yeah, this used to be my dear diary. So let me show you. This is a Stalogy, like I said, Stalogy notebook, and I love the color of the paper. I think it's really good, especially if you like to paste photographs and things like that. So let me just flip through real fast because it's just the same entries I used to have in my journal. I am doing a bit of an index as well with some categories depending on if it's, where are they? Oh, England, Mexico, relationship, or my travel journal. So my travel journal, instead of having it in another journal, is just in here because my travels are part of my life, and this is my life with a bit more detail, I guess. But yeah, so this was 2023 when we got married. And this is space for my wedding pictures that I still haven't printed. The days after the wedding, moving to the UK, life in the UK in Sudbury, which is our town. And this is where 2024 starts. And this is where, I think, is this my last entry? I can't remember. Oh no, I have more, but I still need to write down the contents here. But then this is 2024 life in the UK, a couple trips we made to villages and towns around. Bury St Edmunds, one of my favorite towns as well, so obviously it's featuring in here with a brochure that I got. This was the concert we went to in Leeds to see Simple Plan, my teenage dream band, which I still love them. Yeah, some more entries. Oh, and that's the last one. So I still have, when was that? That's February. And I've been journaling consistently on my A5 until September. So that's a lot of things that I still need to do. Wow. So that's a task for me. But yeah, this is my new journal, B6. Love it. Works great. And this is why I like to have it here, because I need more space for this. So B6 makes sense. And so it is a other level of my journaling system, and the last level as well. And then the last book I have in here is a Midori notebook. This is the B6 Slim, and I have in this plastic cover the cutout of this book, which my husband surprised me with randomly the other day because he knows I love gardening books, and I just cut out the paper cover and I just put it here because this is my, or is gonna be my gardening journal. Again, another interest that means a lot to me. I have no entries because I just started this one, but I have it here because, again, I'm not taking this one with me on trips really, as well as my stamp collection or my big journal. I'm not taking any of this on like trips. If I take anything, it will probably be my passport for a quick jotting or to keep my receipts and stuff. But yeah, that is basically my journaling system. I think it works so well, like dividing my interest into little villages and, you know, sizes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, let me know. Have an amazing rest of October, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!